Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today, Quincy College President Dr. Rick DeCristofaro stops by for a fall update. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, lots of sunshine out there. It's breezy, 57 degrees right now. You'd never know it rained earlier this morning, just a light spritz. Temperatures this afternoon will top off in the low 60s. A chilly night tonight under clear skies, a low around 42 degrees. We're back into a dry pattern for the next couple of days. A little cooler too. Sunny, breezy tomorrow, upper 50s, mid 50s with sunshine on Wednesday. Then our next chance for some significant rainfall, first time in a long time, starts overnight Wednesday and through most of the day on Thursday. Could have about an inch of rain. It'll be kind of a nor'easter type situation too, with a gusty breeze and raw winds with temperatures Thursday into the low 50s. The rain will last through Thursday night. We're right back into sunny, dry weather again on Friday. Again, sunshine and 57 in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, the issue of extending the lease for Quarry Hills Associates to operate the Granite Links Golf Course and Clubhouse is back. Tonight, Quincy City Council will be hearing a request from the administration to extend the existing lease, which still has 21 years left on it. A year ago, Quarry Hills Associates withdrew a request for a new 99-year lease with the city after some residents expressed concern about what they felt was a lack of public input, a lack of fiscal transparency, and complaints that Quarry Hills had failed to fulfill promises of maintaining these playing fields and walking trails on that 500-plus acre property. Now, the lease extension would require both City Council approval and then the approval of a home rule petition by the state. The future of the Eastern Nazarene College property in Quincy remains in doubt as the school prepares to close at the end of this year after 105 years in Quincy. Mayor Thomas Koch says there are unofficial reports that an out-of-state buyer is eyeing that 21-acre campus.
I guess we'll see what happens with what they come forward with. And, as I've said before, Joe, I hope they're practical and realistic and don't think they're going to be putting in, 500 or 700 units of housing and jam it in that site in a residential neighborhood. So, and as you know, practically speaking, we are looking at the gym and the field that could be great additions and assets to the city and Quincy College, and perhaps Quincy College finds some use down there. The library is gorgeous. Maybe that becomes a replacement for the Wollaston Library. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to look at this, and that's what we're doing right now. Everything's on the table.
Mayor's working with the City Council to create an overlay zoning district that would allow for 55 and over housing on a portion of the ENC campus. And he says Quincy College could utilize the gym and library and other facilities. Mayor says he would use eminent domain to take the property if he feels a proposed development at that site would be detrimental to the surrounding neighborhood. Quincy City Council has approved a total of $41.5 million for roadway and infrastructure improvements all around the city. Officials last week unanimously approved taking $24 million from the Sewer Enterprise Fund, $5.5 million from the Water Enterprise Fund, and $12 million from the General Fund to pay for the work. City Council President Ian Kane says that work is desperately needed.
Right now, as you see, there's been so much infrastructure, really good infrastructure work done across the city over the past definitely 9 years that I've been on the city council, where we've had these structured capital improvement plans, that have been renewed over a frequent period. You got some places that seem a little torn up right now, but that's because we've been doing the underlying sewer and water mains and making sure that we're taking care of that work, which can last upwards of 20 years. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, there's been a citywide national grid project that has taken place from the south side of the city to the north side of the city, of course, from Southern Artery all the way through Newport Ave up to the bridge. That has torn up those roadways a lot. And so the best part about that project is that National Grid will fund this resurfacing of all those roads. But this is the stuff that the city is going to continue to produce on its own.
The Finance Committee approved the spending, which was then approved during the regular City Council meeting last week. It's going to cost $3 million to rehabilitate Sailor's Home Pond in Quincy. The city's environmental specialist, Heather Liss, last week told the City Council that the pond is very unhealthy due to years of neglect.
Definitely turtles. We've observed painted turtles and snapping turtles. Very hard to judge how many, but there's clearly a decent sized population, and you see them basking, occasionally swimming. The visibility is incredibly poor. So in terms of inches, I mean, middle of growing season, 2 inches is
So when
maybe
you
4
said-
inches down. So there's a lot that you can't see.
Yeah.
I keep looking for fish and have not been able to find them. Really, I've heard some frogs, but very minimal, and I have not seen any. And so, a lot of these animals that were there in the past, I think the habitat quality has gone down and the food sources have gone down. You've got this crazy amount of algae, but you don't really have any of the tiny animals, the invertebrates, the zooplankton that would normally kind of make the bridge to like fish and them having enough food. And then maybe we would have some more waterfowl, predatory birds, that kind of thing. So there's a lot, I think, that will come back.
The funding for that pond restoration is coming from the Sewer and Drainage Rehabilitation Fund. City Council did approve that request unanimously last week. Outgoing Quincy Historical Society Executive Director Dr. Ed Fitzgerald has been honored for his 30-plus years of service. The Society's president, Jim Edwards, told the City Council last week that Fitzgerald did everything from creating historical exhibits and advising the mayor on the city's history to managing the Society's workforce and even the building.
Ed turns out to be a man of many talents. We've seen him as a board build almost single-handedly exhibits at City Hall and museums at Quincy Historical Society. He can write masterfully, he can lecture wonderfully. He created superb exhibits featuring the likes of Howard Johnson and this fabulous author from Quincy, Henry Beston, and his research on these lectures is beyond compare. There were also many functions he does at the Society that nobody knows about. He's a personnel director, he's the accountant, he's the maintenance director, he's the snow shoveler. Ed is a multitasker there, and he does everything superbly well. He's an amazing fellow. Occasionally, Ed is also gives freely of his time and has lectured at various Quincy senior housing facilities. And he's also given wonderfully interesting presentations at Hancock Cemetery and also at Mount Wollaston Cemetery. He's been an advisor to the city and to Mayor Koch on a host of art and history issues and contributed mightily to the success of the Hancock-Adams Common.
And Councilor at Large Nina Liang read a special citation for Fitzgerald, who did attend that meeting with his wife. And the Society's curator for the past 7 years, Alexandra Elliott, was recently named to succeed Fitzgerald, but he will continue to serve as Director Emeritus. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, Quincy College President Dr. Rick DeCristofaro joins us. That's next. Welcome back. Our good friend from Quincy College, Dr. Rick DeCristofaro, stopping by for an update on how things are going this fall semester and what we can look forward to in the coming year, which is not that far off. Rick, great to see you as always.
Right, great. Always a pleasure to be here, Joe.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for everything you do and everything Cable does. Jonathan back there, incredible job. So
Thank you.
The city is very fortunate.
Oh, thank you. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
We don't hear a lot of compliments. So it's
I can
always-
put it in writing too, Joe.
If you would. A little plaque would be nice.
Well, I don't know about that one.
Perhaps a monument later on down the how's things going?
Good.
Yeah.
Everything's really good.
Yeah.
Really good and positive, and this fall coming into the fall was working hard at the enrollment piece because of free college and not being totally included in
Yeah.
that, but we were up probably about 17 or 18%, over 3,100 students.
Wow.
So we did very, very well, and
Yeah.
I think it's a tribute to a lot of people in the college that really worked hard over the summer, making sure we had a great summer, a really great summer, and then moving on to the fall. So people working hard.
I know there are efforts going on behind the scenes to get Quincy College included in free community college at the state level, right?
Yeah, we are working. I mean, the state reps have done a really great job,
Sure.
and John Keenan, the Senate, and of course Ron, the Speaker, is constantly working, and I'm constantly, advocating. So
Right.
we'll see where we go. The mayor's been absolutely outstanding
Okay.
in that effort. So we have some great Quincy people working hard for the college in
Yeah.
Boston.
But it's good to see that regardless, you're still thriving and
Yeah,
flourishing,
you get to a point where you say, okay, it is what it is right now.
Right.
So how do we deal with it right now?
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that whatever you do is competitive and unique. It has to be unique because the community colleges are working kind of within the same institutional resources and offerings, where we, without those institutional resources, we need to do things like the radiology.
Yes.
Building a radiology lab. Right now we're going to build an occupational therapy lab, as well as being with a physical therapy assistant,
Yes.
bringing it to Quincy, leaving it in Plymouth and still continue, but expanding that program. Those are the uniquenesses that we really need to continue to work on.
Not to mention the baccalaureate programs that are available, right?
Yeah, baccalaureate program is doing great. There's probably about 250, 260 students.
Wow.
The business management,
Yep.
the psychology,
Yep.
computer science. Psychology is doing great for first year. For second year, just terrific. There's about 150, 160 students in our business management baccalaureate, and our computer science, again, probably 75 to 80 students. So we're doing very well. Those are the uniquenesses
Yes.
as compared to the community college. So we have to keeping our eyes on what we can do as a competitive edge.
Right.
So we do that with early college. Early college has done very, very well, and now it's about 290 students, North Quincy. We have the summer of '24, we had 220 students, Summer Academy at the college, Quincy and North. And then this year they just started offering grade 9 early
Wow.
college.
Wow.
So it's 9 to 12. And then we also have an accelerated program that would be very unique in the state.
Yes, tell me about this. We haven't talked about this before. Yeah.
Yeah, accelerated. What we're doing beginning in January is
Yeah.
we have a cohort of students that right now Keith Segala and Megan Giovanoni from the college, QPS, interviewing students and parents to say, look, this is going to be a rigorous, accelerated program. In order to do this, the student needs not only to be an excellent student, but also to have the support at home. So that's going on right now. There'll be 16 to 20 in this initial pilot cohort.
Okay.
And those students will be on their way, 9 to 12, to have a free associate's degree when they leave. So you leave with a diploma, you leave with your associate's degree, you save incredible amount of funding and time to things that are key. So we have that going, and that should be a really great program.
So talk about unique. That's unique, certainly, right? Just keeping it all in Quincy, keeping it all in house.
Right.
Yeah.
And the visionary down the road, we could probably offer that not free. These are free courses to these students, free. So it's wonderful.
Quincy Public School students, right? That's important.
North Quincy High School graduates, as well as we also have scholarships for these students. If a student comes from Quincy High or North Quincy High, they get a full year scholarship to QC.
College, yeah. Wow.
I'm still doing the superintendent.
Yeah.
So that's another piece. So we really are trying to build the brand as we go forward.
So this is separate from early college. This is a whole separate program. from early
It's
college.
under the same
Oh, it is.
early college, high school, but it's just another piece of it, another element of another program within it.
So how would the students be different, in this accelerated associate's degree as compared to the early college program?
Very similar in a sense of many of the courses they're taking, but they would take additional courses.
Okay.
So they would take it either after school, they would take it on Saturdays, they would take it during vacations. It has to be rigorous, they have to be doing what everyone else does, but they would be taking more.
In addition to, okay, all right.
Yeah. So that's a really good thing. And right now, on Saturday, we have a Saturday program at South Middle School, Early College Prep.
Really?
So we can really begin to take a look at these students and make sure that they're all set for early college. So the next one that's at South, the next early college prep would be in down the Point.
Okay.
So
try and keep it around the city.
Yeah,
up
yeah,
to
and we'll
everyone,
just keep
yeah.
going until we get a lot of students that may not know, parents that may not know about the benefits
Yes.
of the program. So that's
I was
what
going to
we're
ask, how do you kind of work in the Quincy Public Schools to make the students and the teachers aware of these programs? How does that
Well, the
happen?
great thing is Superintendent Mulvey,
Certainly, yeah.
Assistant Superintendent Aaron Perkins, and then Keith Segala, who is the business partner, started as Business Partners and then Chapter 74,
ago, yeah.
is just extraordinary. So he's working with Megan Giovannoni over here. I think she's been here before, Megan.
Yep.
And Keith,
Yep.
I'm sure, has been here. But they're the ones that work with Quincy Public Schools, staff,
Hmm.
administration, and with the college administration and faculty to make sure that there's consistent communication and
Yeah.
success.
Okay. Interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a great opportunity. And we have a State Street grant. State
Yes.
Street Foundation has done some great things, $500,000 a year. So we have that as well as DESE funding as well. So the legislature's done fine in making sure these funds are available.
Do you have any sense, Rick, for the percentage of students that have gone through the early college program and then continued their education at Quincy College?
I'll just take this year.
Okay.
This fall. When we started, it was maybe 10 or
Yeah.
11 students that would come
brand
there.
new, right? Yeah.
We're well over 70 students
Wow.
that come here. So they take advantage of the scholarship. But there's what sometimes people don't understand is the quality of education
Yes.
that these students get, and that cheers element. That everyone knows your name. That feeling of an environment where that you trust and you're valued. It's different. It's very unique in
Yes.
that way. And I think students would share that same feeling.
Yeah, I mean, they still get the camaraderie of a high school social setting, right?
Yeah.
But only at the collegiate level.
Yeah. So, I mean, the difference is what we try to do is we have the seniors come over maybe 3 times a year. They'll take a college class.
Yep.
Then they'll meet after as a cohort to talk about it, whatever. Plus, they get lunch. And so those are good
That's
things.
never a
Then
bad thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the juniors come over maybe twice a year.
Okay.
So they get used to the whole regiment and the routine, which it's different. It's very different. But I think they get quickly acclimated to their next year
Absolutely.
as seniors coming over here.
And every program you've talked about, every course offering you've talked about, really is designed to set a student up to get right into the workforce right out of Quincy
Perfect.
College.
You're
right?
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That's why our lab in Boston is so important.
Yes.
It's all workforce development. But the programs that we have, like the physical therapy, our baccalaureates in business, of course, and psychology, of course. But we also started an associate in fire science
Yeah.
with Quincy Fire Department, and Chief Jackson has been extraordinary and just support.
That's great.
And working to see where we go with the firefighters in Quincy. So that program's got 8 firefighters right now involved in that program, and that'll grow. I mean, it'll grow when they talk to each other and say, hey, you know what, this is a great thing, for them, personally, for their education. But, the other programs, the radiology, the biotech, the surge tech, our nursing program,
Yes.
all of these are doing exactly what you said. You're not going to go 4 years and not know what you're going to do. It's very, very, very pathway oriented, and that pathway is workforce somewhere, somehow.
And I mean, a good starting pay too with these
Yeah.
jobs. There's some of them are certificate, some of them are degree, but either way, you can make a living wage
Absolutely.
right out of the college.
It's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's great stuff.
You spoke of the nursing program. How about a nursing update?
Yeah, the nursing program. I mean, last time I was here, we talked about full program.
Yes.
We got full program. So what we're looking at now, we just had a visit from the New England Council of Higher Education, NECHI. They came to take a look at 2 new programs, the psychology and the computer science. They say, okay, we'll have what they call general approval. So what we'll be able to do is to begin. Right now, we're looking at a practical nurse to registered nurse,
Okay.
a bridge program.
Yep.
All right, we can do that. But that piece that we want is the Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Right.
That's that eye on the prize.
Yep.
And so we're working that. The PN program, I wished it would I wished it would grow much faster. It's not, so we have to do some work there.
Practical nursing.
Yeah,
Okay.
but as soon as we get the practical nursing to the RN, registered nurse program going, and there's that bridge, I think there'll be a lot more interest in this nice little pathway again.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So while you work as a PN, you're working towards your RN, your
Okay.
registered nurse, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the
So
whole
it's, no,
package.
it's really doing great. It's really doing great, and I think from where it was to where it is, there's been excellent growth
Very
for
good.
students, yeah.
You know, you mentioned scholarships. There was just a big awards presentation.
Yeah,
not
well
too
over
long ago.
$80,000.
$80,000.
We gave to
Yeah.
so many students, and these students, you're taken aback because they're so grateful for what you offer them. These students have a vision, you know, and we supply, you know, their pathway to the vision that they have.
Yeah. Well, I think for a lot of them, maybe they didn't ever think that college would be in their future. You know,
Absolutely.
to have a degree like that. So they're extremely aware
Yeah.
of the benefit that they're getting and extremely grateful for it as well.
Yeah,
Do you find- yeah.
you feel it, Joe.
Yeah.
You just feel it, you know. And the great thing now is, you know, along with our Board of Governors, Chris Carroll is the new chairperson, and Frank Santoro, the assistant, you know, which is great. But the other piece that we have is a new foundation, Quincy College Foundation. Paul Barbadoro is the chair. I think you know Paul. He's been
Yep, sure.
he's been with the college for years, graduate of the college, but now has his own law firm and doing tremendous. So he's going to be chairing our Quincy College Foundation.
Oh.
So that should take care of the fundraising, the business partnerships, the alumni. So it's another piece of the pie that has our focus on our students.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the alumni. And do you find that they're forming their own foundation now, and their own support systems, support network?
We have a long way to go.
Yeah,
We have a
okay,
long way to
yeah.
go with alumni, and Kara Bobroff, she was with us at North Quincy High School, did
Yeah.
a great job there. She's really the institutionally advanced person.
Okay.
She's the one that's going to be working with the foundation.
Okay.
So she's got that huge job of creating this alumni network.
That's a tough one. And
Yeah.
it's something that needs to be tended to all the time, you know, year round. It's a full-time position,
Yeah,
right?
it really is,
Yeah,
and it's in some ways starting from scratch
Yeah.
because it's a foundation. You're starting. Okay, what do I do now, Coach? She'll do it. She'll do an extraordinary job, but it's a lot of work
a lot
to
of
get
work.
cooking. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's going to benefit our students the more we can touch base and do the days of giving, a day
Yes.
of giving, or maybe one pretty large foundation event.
Event, yep.
You know, somewhere along the line. Before I get into assisted living, I think it'll work.
You've got a long
You
way
know.
to go, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know about that one, but that's okay. We'll keep working at it.
You mentioned Coach. How's athletics going at Quincy
Athletics are
College?
great.
Yeah.
Just at the game Saturday, and our basketball team is really doing great. And we have an increase in overall student athletes. You know, Jack Raymer has the track program building, which is a good thing. The baseball program is doing fine. They had a great fall. They'll be in the spring as well. Basketball is hockey's doing well as well, and basketball is 4-0, and really terrific group of students, and they can play.
Yeah. All the home games at Quincy High this year.
Yeah, thank you
Yes.
for
yeah.
mentioning that. Yeah, 9 home games at Quincy High,
Yep.
working with Kevin Segala, of course, the superintendent of the schools, Kevin Mulvey, to make sure that we had a 3-point line because they couldn't play there before. But
Oh.
that gym is just an incredible place to play. So our students are thrilled.
That's great.
To be there. Yeah.
It's because, of course, Eastern Nazarene College is closing. So how will that
But,
impact
you know,
Quincy College?
Yeah, and we're right. But we did that. We had that in play.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I thought to be in Quincy, to say we're in Quincy, not not that Wollaston is too far away, but it was better to have it close to the college. Because if we did have students that wanted to go to the game, that had a late class, they could just walk down
right
the
over,
street,
sure, yeah.
and be there. And plus, the parking is great too. So.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful gym, and we're very fortunate.
Yeah.
So Kevin Segala and again the superintendent really were very supportive of having us be there.
Yeah, you may have heard the mayor mention during the news looking at possibly Quincy College utilizing some ENC facilities in the future.
Yeah, and you know, obviously he's there is no better visionary for this city. Proof, just go anywhere in the city. So we'll continue to work with him and of course the board of governors to see what may be in the future
Right.
for ENC.
All right, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, we will.
Look forward to an update from you in the not too distant future.
I'm ready when you are. It's great stuff.
Always
so I
good to
thank
see
you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming over. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Just enough time to check the forecast for you, actually, for the rest of the day today. It looks really nice. Sunshine, kind of breezy, but mild. Temperatures in the low 60s this afternoon. Another clear, cool night tonight. Temperatures drop off into the lower 40s, and we're back into a dry stretch for just a couple of days with daytime highs in the low to mid 50s, nighttime lows, upper 30s, low 40s. Look at a rainy day on Thursday, and I think we'll all be grateful for that. Kind of a nor'easter, too, with a raw wind. Temperatures only in the lower 50s, and only lasts for a day. We're back into the sunny, dry weather again beginning on Friday. Thanks again to Dr. Rick Cristofaro for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
You are
Appreciate
welcome.
it very much.
Thank you to our crew, and thank you for watching. Friday, speaking of, here on the show, Quincy Chamber of Commerce President Tim Cahill stopping by with a holiday update. Meantime, check our website. That's qatv.org. There's all of our latest programs there, news, information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.